Shalom, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai Bashem Rakah Kodash. Shalom to the 100,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to try to make this quick. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. Anyway, I'm going to entitle this video, "This is Why the Father Gave Away His Daughter." And adultery was set up by the Most High for a reason. I may put that in the initial title, but the main title is "This is Why the Father Gave Away His Daughter." And I'm gonna go into the law a little bit. I'm not gonna make this long. Anyway, I was just watching this video right here. Schopenhauer was right about women all along. Now, I watched up until almost 15 minutes in, a little bit more than half, and everything that was said in this video is 100% true. This guy had it. He wrote a book, was this 1700s? Let me just go ahead and find him. This German guy. Give me a second here. Okay, this is the guy right here. Schopenhauer. And he broke down woman. It's called, what was the fucking term? I believe the term was sexual honor. Okay. Civic honor. Sexual honor. That's when a man and a woman come together. The woman does not commit adultery. She's exclusively for the man, for life. Back in the day when you had your marriage vows, part of the vow was to obey the husband. They took that out. Why would you get married a woman when you got to bring home the so-called bacon, the lamb, instead of the bacon, the lamb, and she can do what the fuck she want? You know, obey meaning what? You're the captain. She's the skipper. You know, she's the first mate or whatever. And your children represent the rest of the crew. But this woman right here, she's getting down. She is getting down. You know? Anyway, the first scene right here is this. I believe this woman from Australia, some buckethead, fake blonde chick. She got 400 men to pop her, and she got pregnant eventually by three. It comes down to one of three men that made her, impregnate her. But here she got laid down by 400 men. I wouldn't touch this chick with a 150-foot pole. Now the thing is this: most women, I'm saying 80s, 90s%, got big body counts. You don't know. You don't know. Women are not. If a woman dealt with 50, 60 guys, you think she's gonna tell you that? She'll say, "Only I had 2 guys. My first man, I could marry him. He went to the military. He died. My second man, he just left me." You know what I'm saying? Bitch, you got 50 men, 100 men. Because that's your power. The woman's only power is, what's in between her legs, her body, her face, her looks. She can go places. You look really good to a man. There's men, it tells you that in First Ezra chapter 4, I believe. The woman causes men to go crazy, and that's true. That's true. We all experienced that. We all had that woman that we wanted. You played games, got the best of you, and then but you learn from that. When you're younger, women play games. That's all they do is play games and fucking lie. I mean, they lie their ass off. Anytime a woman open it, the bitch lying, the bitch lying, the bitch lying. She lying. She told the truth right there, but then she lied again. They will lie their ass off, and with a straight fucking face. Anyway, that's why we here at GMS, we don't push that shit out about you got to get married like IUIC. All kind of adulterous affairs are happening in the IUIC. Trust me. We were listening to Bishop Nate late last Saturday, and he was going into dudes that caught their women, Israelite women that's in the truth, with other men. And then he said there was one story where a woman punched a brother, I guess he was an officer or whatever the case, maybe he was IUIC. He got punched in the head 2 times by his woman. First of all, a woman's not going to tell me that she's thinking about, forget about punch. If you punch me in the head, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up. Unless it's plain. If you just hit all off and punch, she punched this dude in the face 2 times in the head. That means she got control. So that whole system that Nate got going is bullshit. They had a guy in there that was fucking a goat. And he said it. There was a guy that was in there that was married to a goat that was a part of IUIC. Now he can tell me that I never said that you never said that. You said that maybe 2-3 years ago. I don't know, 4 years ago. Guy was living in the van. He had a goat and he was popping the goat. And he was going, IUIC. Watch what the Most High gonna do to the IUIC. He's gonna take the elect out of there and he's gonna destroy the rest of y'all. So you better hope that you're on the elect. Anyway, I'm gonna give you a couple of scriptures, but this is a real hoe. And men don't care. If a woman, good looking woman, offers you something, you're gonna take it. You know what I mean? So these guys say, oh, no big deal. And she's smiling. She's really fucked up inside. Her brain's all scrambled. But anyway, let me just do this. Let me hit you with one scripture. You gotta watch this video. If I remember, I'll leave the matter of fact, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna subscribe to this chick. Good looking woman. Okay? And this is not an eye-opener, it's just a confirmation watching this. Anyway. Let me see. This is why you have the adultery set in place. Where if your woman commit adultery with another man, they're both to be put to death. And it's no big, long 2-year trial. You got the evidence, boom, you got put to death. Get the man, chop his head off, stone him. He got stoned, and the wife got stoned. That's why you got the tribes, the Latin Americans. The woman, his woman, mess around with another man. He gonna kill that bitch and kill the dude, and that's known. Now among the black men for the most part, I have to say this. They pop women, give them a baby or two, and get the fuck out or locked up. You can't make commitments with these women. Excuse me. Let me see, Leviticus. Is it Leviticus? I believe it's Leviticus. '21, if I'm not mistaken. Excuse me. I'm going to go right to the point. I don't want to read the whole thing. This is regulations concerning the priests. One of them is not balding your head. Okay, this is among the priests. Okay, maybe it's Exodus. I thought it was Leviticus. Let's try Exodus 21. Yeah, I didn't read all of it in Leviticus. But if you have a daughter that plays the harlot, you ought to burn her with fire. Ordinance for the people. I want to go to the woman part. This is called this. You had Israelites. You had certain groups, Yar Israelites, I'll call them. Let's say the Seminoles are not the Israelites because they enslaved black runaway slaves. Well, that's what Israel did. Israel enslaved other Israelites. This is in the law. This is in this book right here, in this particular chapter. You sold your woman for the most part. If you had a 25 beautiful daughters, you're rich because you're selling your daughters. A Hebrew man, an Israelite man, selling his daughter to another Israelite man. Give me a second. Okay, this is the 4th verse. It's talking about a man. Let me go ahead and read this. And this is strict order when it comes to a man and a woman getting together. This is strict order, because a man's human nature is, if he loves a woman, he wants to kill the dude and he wants to kill her. But you're weak because you want to kill the dude, not kill her, and forgive her. And Nero's not pushing laws, and he's not using ICE to arrest people that commit adultery. They don't push that. This is why fire is going to take this fucking place out. Revelation 18:8, and she shall be utterly burned with fire, for strong is the Lord that judges her. And that's talking about America. It says, 4th verse, if his master have given him a wife, a Hebrew Israelite man given another Hebrew Israelite man, or an Israelite man, a wife, which is one of his maids, and she have borne him sons or daughters, the wife and her children shall be her masters, and he shall go out by himself. That's why most of them stay with their master. And if the servant shall plainly say, I love my wife, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. That's what the chip is all about. The MOTB, the mark of the beast. That means when you take that chip, that means you love your master, which is the elite class of this system. That's what that means. It's a worship. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges. He shall also bring him to the door, or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear. This time, at this modern day, it's talking about the chip in the right hand, or the forehead, the brain chip, through with an awl, like an earring, so you can understand. And he shall serve him forever. And I said this before, even if Yahushua wanted to save you, he couldn't save you because you made a choice. You said, no, I don't want to be saved. I love my master, Esau. So the ones of you that can't get it, you're going to be part of that fire. Revelation 18:8. Daniel 7, I believe that's around about the 11th verse. The beast was on fire. And if a man sell his daughter to be a maid servant, she shall not go out as a maid, as a man's servants do. Man servants 6 years or 7 years, you're free. That's what happened with Laban, the deal with Laban and Yaquab. He worked 21 years. He worked 7 years for Rachel. When he was ready to get his bride, Laban said, custom, which is unwritten law, I got to give the oldest away first. And that was the spirit, so you can have both of them. That was all spiritual. But there was something about this Rachel that was far more prettier than Leah. And I'm sure that Leah was a beautiful woman, but Rachel was, she was special. So the spirit worked it out and made him work another 7 years. And then he had the initial 7 years as a servant. And this was before the law written. Everything is being codified in the law through Moses, but they were keeping these laws. They were unwritten laws. Why do you think the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah? Because it was unwritten laws that a man's not supposed to lay with another man. Now, people say that they were involved in bestiality. It doesn't say that, but you can assume that. Let's just say it was men looking to get with other men. That's good enough to destroy you, get destroyed. And you got all kind of sodomites in this country. De Niro's a sodomite. He's a sodomite. Let me say it again. He's a sodomite. You got a corrupt, wicked, cruel Lord in the power seat. And they can't, and 350 million people can't get rid of him because the super elite, probably the Rothschilds, are saying, nope, you're going to stay in office. The very minute they said, look, he's out of here, guess what? They're going to make a phone call, boom, he's out of here, okay, boom. How are we going to get rid of him? Oh, impeach him. Like Nixon, don't kill him, impeach him. They want to get presidents out the way, they take them out, put them to sleep, give them a dirt nap. But in the case of Nixon, he was a counselor. He was a smart man. They said, "No, don't take him out. We need him, but just embarrass him. Tell him to resign." They told him. He said, "Look, man, you're gonna resign tomorrow." And he said, "I resigned." Then he said, "I'm not a crook." What the fuck you resigning for? Anyway, that whole Watergate thing. It was a Jake that found that recorder. And Jake, I think he caught hell. He was a security guard. He blew the case. If you go back to the history, go back to Watergate. It says, if she please not her master, who have betrothed her to himself. Meaning, you said she's just going to be a maid. She's going to cook, she's going to clean, she's going to do this. And, but she's going to be my wife now. I fell in love with this woman. I got feelings for this woman. Her status goes up to that of a maid, to that of the man's wife. So she gets the privileges of a wife, not of a maidservant. Now they feature that in the movie 12 Years a Slave, where the main character, Solomon Northup, and the other chick, they went to another plantation and they met a sister, what's her name, Alfred Witter, I think her stage name, her name is, and she was the mistress of the house because the master, which was an Edomite, fell in love with his slave, and his wife died, and she became the mistress of the house, and then he eventually died, and she became the mistress of the house. Because now Esau, if you had your paperwork was right and your status was right, you had a lot of Jakes that were free in the South. You had a lot of Jakes that were that had slaves themselves. So it's about status and paperwork. What is your status? It says, if she please not her master, who hath betrothed or engaged himself, her to himself, then shall he let her be redeemed to sell her unto a strange nation. If it was an Israelite, he can sell her to another Israelite. He shall have no power, seeing he hath dealt deceitfully with her. In other words, you ain't feeling her, so you pushing her out. So there's laws on that. And if he have betrothed her unto his son, oh, this is going to be, and then you don't have to wait, you didn't have to talk, so-called rap to a woman. Your father gave you a gift, and that happened with Isaac and Rebekah. The day that Isaac and Rebekah met, they fell in love with each other. And that was an unending love. And the first thing they did when they saw each other, they went in the tent, and he went in onto her. Because she said, who is this man? He said, that's your husband right there. Oh, okay. He shall deal with her after the manner of daughters. In other words, if he marries the master of the house, marries a slave, a handmaid, her status goes up to that of a married woman. Same thing if he gives this handmaid to a son, her status goes up. If he take him another wife, meaning you can have more than one wife, her food, her remnant, and her duty of marriage, got to sex her up, shall not be diminished. And if he do not these three unto her, then shall she go out free without money. So now when you come back to this video, let me X this out. When you come back to this video, she goes into sexual honor. She goes into civil honor. Let me see if I can find that for myself. Okay, this is civic honor, meaning you treat your fellow man, good. You don't rob him, you don't steal from him. Official honor is the police. A police officer has to act in a certain way. That's your official honor. Then you have sexual honor when you're dealing with a woman. That honor is if that's your woman, she can't deal with any other man. She can't look at another man in that way. And these women be looking at men. That happened to me the other day. Edomite woman looking at me, pulling her hair back with a man. Well, no, she waited till a man was in the car, and then she smiled at me, and she looked good. But I ain't gonna do nothing to her, cause you can't lay with a Edomite woman if she has a man. That's adultery. Adultery goes for all the nations. The law, that particular law. So the woman in the beginning that lay with 400 men, that's her right there. That's stupid, that airhead bitch right there. And she's smiling. And men just saying, oh, I get free box. Hey, I ain't got no problem with that. She has absolutely no honor. She has absolutely no honor. But anyway, watch this video. Was it Kate Willett? And that's the name of the video. Schopenhauer was right about women all along. So watch the video. Look at this. Our women are completely out of order. I'm talking about the Jake women, the tribe of Judah women, kingdom of Judah women. They out of order, man. Women overall are just out of order because they can get away with murder. See, women jump around and cheat, and like most of the time, you got a woman, you have a friend, you come to find out your best friend is laying with your woman, meaning he was never your friend, and that was never your woman. And if the law was applied, they would both get put to death. That's why you don't bring you don't bring your friends around your woman. You know, you deal with her exclusively, and that's it. We'll be bringing let's double date. Where's that in the scripture? Where did Isaac and Rebekah go double date with some Egyptian husband and his wife? Oh, let's go on a double date. It says, does the Bible make women responsible for men's lust? What the Bible really says about that modesty. Right, men have lust, women have lust. That's why the Apocrypha says, keep her in straitly. That's the Father, keep her in straitly. In other words, don't let her gad abroad. Keep her in straitly. Anyway, let me go ahead and check this. And that what do you call that? OnlyFans and Facebooks and your women are all, they got their tablets and they looking at other men. They got their profile picture up. So we got to wait for the kingdom to come to bring back what? To bring back order. That's in the Lord's Prayer. Bring back order as it is in heaven. Let thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. The spiritual realm is in order. This place is completely out of order. This is why the app name Babylon. Babylon simply means confusion. This is a confused society. Now even military generals are coming against Nero. People are coming against Nero. The reason why he's in power is because the elite told, probably the Rothschilds gave the order. I'm just thinking, I can't prove it. They said, no, he's gonna be in here. The very minute they say he's out, how do you want us to get rid of him? How do you want us to get him, get him out of there? Any way you want. If you don't like him, you can do what you want to do. Or do it this way, or just pull him to the side and tell him to resign. If you don't resign, this, that, and the third is going to happen. And he'll resign, or he'll get put out another way, or he'll get impeached. This whole election system, the law of this system is confusing. IRS code, which is Title 26 of United States Code, that book is thick. You can throw it at somebody, hit him in the head, and kill him. That's all confusing. That's meant for you to be a CPA, a certified public accountant. You gotta basically you become my brother's father. He started as a CPA and he's a lawyer. He's a top lawyer. He's rich too. He's a top lawyer. He went from CPA to being a damn lawyer. And you got lawyers that specialize just in criminal law. Federal criminal law is Title 18 of the United States Code. IRS, federal IRS, is Title 26 of the United States Code. So that's why you have lawyers that are just in the medical law. You have lawyers that are just in the financial law, corporate law, sports law, because you can't learn the whole law. So you need an expert that knows Title 26 backwards and forwards. Please forgive me for going off into a rant. But anyway, yeah, this system is set up to be confused. The average person can't figure out Title 26. Let me come back to this. Let me digress. Okay, put on therefore as the elect, there were sealed 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. All right, let's listen to a little bit of this. This is interesting, and everybody's feeling it. The time speeding up, and Satan on the move. Your time is speeding up. Everything is moving quick. You know, it's Monday. Before you know it, it's Friday. We're inside. Everything's moving quick. Right, you got another Muslim that's taking over another Detroit, Michigan. I believe he's running for governor, if I'm not mistaken. I don't keep up with politics. Let me go ahead and click on this. But like I said, you gotta, let me do this. Because what I want to do, I'm going to leave this up so I can put it in the description box. If I remember. Let me go right here. Yeah, anytime you're dealing with a woman out here in the world, you're dealing with a hoe. You're dealing with a hoe. Which probably might have 75 bodies on it. Give me a second here. Give me a second here. Okay, I'm trying to find it. Yeah, right. There you go. Trying to find a video. Let me do it this way. I'm sorry, y'all. As you can see, this is live. Let's see what this is about. Let's go. We'll listen to a little of this. Watch a little of this.
Country, they're going to fall. It's only when the battle comes to their front they're going to realize it's game over. So when those thermonuclear warheads are on their way to Babylon the Great, just like the scripture says, when the king of Babylon hears the report of them, his hands start to tremble. That's what's going to happen. Trust me. So let's go back to 2 Ezra chapter 2. Was it chapter 2 was it? It wasn't it? Yeah.
2 Ezra chapter 2 and verse 37. All receive the gift, all receive the gift that is given, and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath called you to the heavenly kingdom.
That's what we're doing. We're giving thanks to Yahweh Shai that's called us to the heavenly kingdom. Because we can only get to the heavenly kingdom through doing this work and through our faith. And Lord willing, we're of the elect, we've got ourselves the hope of the elect, and that we're going to receive the salvation that's going to give us the kingdom. Not the salvation that's going to bring us into captivity and servitude, right? Because that's the salvation that these Christians are talking about. That's going to bring them into captivity and servitude, right? Yeah. they're going to be saved, those Christians. Right? And the rest of the nations and the rest of the religions. Yeah, those that survived the destruction, the civil unrest and the war and the famine. Yeah, they're going to be saved, but they're going to be saved for servitude, for captivity. Right? Handmaids, maids. That's what they're going to be served for. They're going to be saved to serve the elect of the nation of Israel. So yeah, they're going to be saved. So don't, you Christians, vocab, you're going to receive salvation, vocab, but just not the kind of salvation you're thinking. That's all. But you're right on that, vocab. The Gentiles will be saved, but they're going to be saved for a specific reason. Just so you understand. And Lord willing, you're one of them, vocab.
If you go to Isaiah chapter 60, you put that in YouTube, you have preachers, you have pastors doing sermons on Isaiah 60, and they don't mention nothing about slavery, and the whole chapter is dedicated to putting the other nations in slavery. They'll say this is a spiritual thing, it's spiritual slavery. Christians are gone.
I'm praying for your salvation, vocab, that you get saved. Like Pastor Tahar says, Apostle Tahar says, we can loan you out from plantation to plantation. Make a spiritual phone call. Send him over today and his kids.
And the kids.
Yeah. Send the whole family over. I got 2 weeks worth of work for them. That's all. So that he never forget us.
He can lose some of that weight.
A little devil. Go on, sorry.
Second Ezra 2 and 38. Arise up and stand. Behold the number of those that is sealed in the feast of the Lord.
So the number that's going to be sealed at 144,000 plus the mixed multitude. But it starts with 144,000.
Verse 39, which are departed from the shadow of the world,
which is departed from the shadow of this world,
and have received glorious garments of the Lord.
And have received glorious garments of the Lord, which is the salvation. Native brother. Glorious garments of the salvation. Simple. You know, we have people that pass by us, not necessarily we know whether or not Israelites or not, but deal with us very respectfully and accordingly. And we will return the favour to certain people within the kingdom, in the kingdom. We'll lift them a level above the other slaves and servants. Do you know what I mean? Maybe their job is going to be in the big house, not out in the fields, kind of thing and that. So, or, for we know, they could just be Israelites that are going past like the other nations, that always, deals with respectfully, says bless you, whatever, shows a sign of respect to us. They don't show no sign of grievance towards us. There is no grievance in their spirit or in their faith, but we can see it, we can feel it, if there was. So, they could be Israelites for all we know, we don't know. But we get both sides of the coin. But anyway, let's go back to
Second Ezra, chapter 2 and verse 40. Take thy number, O Sire. 39. Salah. Second Ezra 2 and 39. Which are departed from the shadow of the world, and have received glorious garments of the Lord.
And have received the glorious garments of the Lord. Good.
Take thy number, O Sire, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white,
which are the elect. Right, starts with 144,000,
which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled.
And that's what we're waiting for. When the Lord signs it off, He's going to sign it off in the heavenly realm. The 144,000 are sealed. Yeah?
Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed.
All right? So we're going to seek seek the power of the Lord. All right? That people which have been called from the beginning. I didn't, brother. You just said that, innit? That's the spirit. Huh? Yeah. Good.
Okay, and it continues in verse 41. For 42. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Sion a great people.
Great people Ezra saw. Not just any and anybody, for a great people. Go on.
Whom I could not number.
Whom he could not number. Goes back to what we read in Revelation 7. The mixed multitude. John the Revelator had the same vision, or similar vision, maybe from a different vantage point, as Ezra. A great number of people, a mixed multitude. So we read that earlier in Revelation chapter 7.
And where it says Paul from the beginning is reminiscing to the John chapter 17.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That they were those that are mine were given me from before the world was even created. That's right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Second chapter 2 and verse 42. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Sion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs.
They're all going to praise the Lord with songs. So right now we're singing this new song, which is true, but they all praise the Lord with songs. Because we're going to be so... I mean, I believe the Lord's going to put the Spirit on us for us to be all singing the same song. The Song of Moses, the Bible speaks about the Song of Moses that we're going to be singing. Alright? So we're going to know. We're going to know the words off by heart. We're going to be so joyful and happy. I can't state this enough. It's going to be a beautiful day. More than anything that we can truly imagine.
This is Hosea 1:10. It says, yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea.
So the number of the children used to be the sand of the sea. As I said before, we are probably the most nation of, we're the highest population of people on the planet Earth, but we are scattered and mixed amongst the other nations. We're going to be like the sand of the sea. And you can't count the sand, right? That's in the sea. Go ahead.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Which cannot be measured nor numbered.
Like I said, been saying, there's supposedly 8 billion plus people. I believe that I wouldn't be surprised if there's 4 billion of the people are Israelites. Remember, Israelites are scattered literally all over the planet Earth.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power.
Which is America, Babylon the Great, the place where the great...
Even though they're currently in London, on the other side of the pond. So it's not ringing loud in London like it is over here in America. And for you other Israelite groups out there, former One Westers, at the beginning of YouTube, you was all over the place. Nobody's in New York City. I'm talking about New York City. There may be two camps out there. I'm talking about the GMS camps, because we break up into smaller camps. And maybe IUIC, and maybe ISUBK, maybe one camp. In the beginning of the YouTube days, you had everybody out there, all kind of videos. Well, Sakari, they're not, Alizar, I don't know what his position is. He makes videos. I don't know if he calls himself Sakari or that thing got broken up. But you had Sakari, then you had Genesis, then you had all these. Well, Genesis is not out there. They just, gave up. But I remember 2008, 2009, 2010, you had the 14th Street Israelites. What happened to them? You can stop doing the work now? Nah. So the work is not going out strong in America. Now, meanwhile, you got Bishop Nate over there in Africa. Now, what did the reader just read? Let's go back.
cannot be measured nor numbered.
Cannot be measured nor numbered.
And it shall come to pass that in the place where
The place is not Africa. That's a topic right here. The place is not Africa.
it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power.
Place and there. That's America. That's not the Solomon Islands. You know? That's not Nigeria. Lagos, Nigeria.
Which is America, Babylon the Great, the place where the great deliverance of salvation is going to take place. In that place, where it shall be said unto you, you are not the children of Israel. There it shall be said unto you, you are the children of power. And that's what's happened.
This is the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 1. It says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice.
And that's what we are doing. We're presenting our bodies as a living sacrifice out here now. Go ahead.
It says, holy, acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service.
Which is our reasonable service. That's the least the Lord can expect from us once we come into the truth, that we become those laborers. The harvest is many, but the laborers are few. Truly.
Verse 2, it says, and be not conformed to this world.
Be not conformed to this world. Alright? You know, we spoke about a brother last week that they were speaking about that was once in the truth out here teaching. He said it became too much. He became conformed to this world. He said he couldn't juggle the two. So he put the world before the Lord. That was his decision, but that was his lot. He got conformed to this world.
It says, Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
By the renewing of your mind, which is his word. This is why when Nicodemus came to the Lord, the Lord said to him, he has to be born again. Nicodemus saying, "Oh, do I have to go back into my mother's womb and come back out again?" And the Lord said, "No, you have to be washed again in this truth, in this word." Basically, that explains to us the word to be about. You have to relearn this word again. It says that Nicodemus was a Pharisee that knew the Lord inside out. So, same thing here. Read that part again.
This is Romans chapter 12, verse 2. It says, be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind.
By the renewing of your mind. So that's what Nicodemus had to do. Yes, Nicodemus, right? Okay. That's what Nicodemus had to do. Yeah. He had to renew his mind. The Lord said to him, he had to be born again into this truth. And that's what we all had to do. We had to renew our mind. We had to recalibrate our whole spirit and body and what we thought we knew. You know? Go ahead.
It says, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High.
The good and acceptable, perfect will of the Most High. That's what it is. Once you're there, beautiful. Yeah. Go back second as well.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2 and verse 41. The number of thy children, whom thou longest for, is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord and that thy people, which have been called from the beginning, may be hallowed. I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Zion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praised the Lord with songs. And in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature.
Which is Yahushai. With the word ignorant called Jesus Christ. That's the young man of a high stature. Yeah.
Taller than all the rest.
This is what the Apostle Paul spoke about in 2 Timothy 4, around about the 8th verse, that he's going to receive a crown. Well, guess what? What the brother is reading And Paul was there. Paul was in that vision. He got a crown. And he knew he was going to get a crown.
Sounds like
Let no man take your crown. Revelation 3.
what's his name? Saul. Saul was crowned. Same thing, innit? Same sort of thing. When talking about the Saul was crowned, boy. Look at that. Tallest, yeah. Like Benjamin, and saw this young man tall, yeah.
And upon every one of the heads, he set crowns.
Crowns, and he said that. He says he's going to start with the disciples. He's going to crown the disciples. So they're going to get their crowns and they're going to judge them the 12 tribes of Israel. Then the 144,000, which is going to be the governing body. Right?
And was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly.
He was more exalted, Yahushua. Because that whatever shine came over him, presence coming over him was it wasn't just something that you saw, it was a spiritual thing. You probably felt the spirit of the Messiah. It's going to be hard to explain now because we're going to have to be there. But we just know it's some sort of spiritual connection they're going to get as well as a visual from the Messiah. That's what I'm saying. So Ezra's just seeing this in a vision. So he was graced by the Lord to have this vision to see the Messiah. Good.
So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these?
Cheeky bugger. I knew you once. The angel Uriel. I'm only joking. So he's having a conversation. He asked the angel, "What are these?" This way, no, it's a vision because he's dealing with the angel. Right? He's showing him this vision. Yeah. Go on.
He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal stone.
Why? Because we're going to become immortal and incorruptible. This mortal body must put on immortality. This corruptible body must put on incorruption. All right, to get everlasting life. Go on.
He answered and said unto me, These be they that have put off the mortal stone and put on the immortal.
I didn't even know I was going to say that. But there you go. That's the spirit. Put on the immortal. All right. Go on.
And have confessed the name of the Most High.
And have confessed the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua.
Now are they crowned and received.
Also,
now have they crowned and received palms.
London, England.
Lord willing, we're going to get a crown.
Shalom to the camp.
Then said I, this is verse 26, then said I unto the angel, What young person is it that crowneth them, and giveth them palms in their hands? So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High.
Yahweh Shai. So you know he's going to physically be there, Yahweh Shai. Do you understand that? So he's going to be putting crowns on their heads. So the Messiah is going to be physically in the kingdom of heaven. It's not going to be there. The Heavenly Father is going to be there in spirit. But Yahweh Shai is going to be there physically. You're going to see him, feel him, touch him. You're going to break bread with him. We're going to
drink wine with him. Yeah, that's what he said. Next time I drink wine with you,
Lord
in the
said to the
kingdom.
disciples, you will not drink of the wine of his wine and drink of it again in the kingdom. Right? So it just shows you. Go on. Let me finish this verse.
Second Ezra chapter 2 and 47. So he answered and said unto me, It is the Son of the Most High, whom they have confessed in the world. Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord.
That's the key, you know. Stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shem Yahushua Barakatah.
Then the angel said unto me, Go thy way, and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy power thou hast seen.
Yeah, Ezra was blessed to see all of that. 100% blessed to see that. So you can break the precept.
This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 6. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have shown towards his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister."
Oh,
You want to take a picture? Absolutely, yeah. And take a picture of the other side as well. There's scriptures on the other side. Yeah. Absolutely. Don't worry about it.
So I'll read this again. This is This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 6, verse 10. It says, "For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love." Lord, He sees what we're doing. He sees us out here on the highway. But yeah, so it says, "For the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love." So we come out here on the highways and hedges. We preach the word out on the highways and hedges, across the airwaves, wherever we're there, right? And prophesy to the wind. You know, we do that because that's our labor of love. You know, we're doing that to show the Lord, the Most High, that we're doing exactly what He's commanded us to do. Right? It says, "The Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love." So the Lord's not going to forget everything that you've done out there, right? He sees what you're doing. He sees that you're out here showing up every week and doing the lessons during the week, you know, and bringing this word out, educating and edifying our people. It says, "Which ye have shewed towards His name." He's doing it in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. So you understand that's the correct name, right? It says, "In that ye have ministered to the saints and do minister." And we speak to the local elect, the elect that we provide. When we preach this word to reach them, to seal them, get them sealed in, and to repent and come back to the Lord. That's what we're doing. Every week that we come out here, this is what we do. Saying don't want the word to come out, but we don't bring it out regardless, right? So I just wanted to touch on that precept, but yeah, that's basically just bringing it down to why we come out here. Our labor of love, yeah, this is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, and starting at verse 50. It says, "Now this I say, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of the Most High." Because that's why the elect need to be changed into those new bodies, man. Those celestial bodies, okay? Because ain't no flesh going on no chariot unless you want to be a pile of mush on the side of the wall when that thing takes off at Mach 1 infinity. Warp 10. And 1 Corinthians 15 and 51, "Behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed." And that doesn't mean that we're going to get new bodies, okay? Because all it's talking about are the Israelites, the only ones that salvation is for, regardless of what nation they look like. Verse 52. So the elect will be changed in the twinkling of an eye when the Lord returns, basically. That's what that's saying. So verse 52, it says, "In the moment, in the twinkling of an eye." So as quick as you can blink, you're gonna have your new body. Just like that movie Avatar. Your soul is gonna be put in another vessel, a vessel made by the Lord. So it says, 1 Corinthians 15 and 52. In the moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trump, For the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. So the elect, whoever they may be, are gonna be raised incorruptible. Okay, they're gonna leave this flesh that decays. This flesh gets old, it gets tired, it gets weak, it gets grey, it gets fat, it's slow, it's sloppy. There's no glory in this flesh, man. So the incorruptible is going to be changed. You know, the flesh is going to be changed into the incorruptible. Verse 53, 1 Corinthians 15 and 53. For this corruptible must put on incorruption. And that comes, you know, to the elect who are going to, while they're here on earth in this flesh, they're making themselves righteous. They're fleeing from the ways of this world, renewing their minds. And the scriptures speak about how righteousness is immortality. So when you're righteous in the sight of the Lord on the day of the Lord, that's your golden ticket, so to speak, to them new bodies and ticket on the chariot, basically. Right? You've got to put on righteousness. So 1 Corinthians 15 and 53 says, for this corruptible must put on incorruption, and this mortal must put on immortality. Meaning there are bodies that are immortal, okay? Can't be immortal in the flesh. Because if you lose an arm, your arm is gone forever. Just get one of them bionic. Either my arms. These sort of technology. Yeah, who wants that free to Anyway, verse 54 it says, so when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, death is swallowed up in victory. That's going to happen when America is destroyed, man. Because death and hell are getting cast into the lake of fire. Proving that the lake of fire is not in a place called hell. So how can you cast hell into a lake of fire? That's the sight. So death and hell is representing Esau, okay? Because Esau is as death. You know, he's made a covenant with death, man. Hell meaning the grave, because we're not going to die. So verse 55. 1 Corinthians 15 and 55, it says, O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. That's why, you know, we say that we can't keep it 100% in this kingdom. Because then, you know, we're basically saying that if we break one sin, we broke them all. Yeah, if we believe that we can be sinless in this world, be without sin or not sin, if we believe we can do what only Yahweh Shai was able to do, then we're basically making void what Yahweh Shai did for us, basically. Right? We're saying we could save ourselves. We didn't need a sacrifice that Yahweh Shai made for us. And then close it out with verse 57, 1 Corinthians 15 and 57. It says, but thanks be to the Most High, which giveth us the victory through our Lord Yahweh Shai the Anointed.
And his brother right here, he looked like just like Deacon Malachi from the IUIC. That's your twin brother, Deacon Malachi. I know you're not watching, but if you are, there's your twin brother in Mario, England. Anyway, you know what I'm doing? I'm going. They're getting ready to close. They've been out there for 2 hours, over 2 hours. What caught my eye was this one right here. I'm going to go into this. I might have to bring it back.
Open quote, you were never the lost ones. You were the ones in here who remember. Close quote.
Now, I don't know if you heard that. Because it sounded a little muffled. I'm going to play it again, but then I'm going to read the caption because I actually put the closed caption on. I'm going to play it again.
That voice breaks through. It's undeniable. That's the strategy. lapses inside by activating the ones they tried to erase. Want to see how this connects to Yeshua?
This is let me bring this to the beginning. This is going to be kind of a
Dash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Being Brought Back to Remembrance. And this is pretty much, title that came to me later, but the idea came to me. I didn't have the title at the time, watching the video that Elder Apostle Tar did, but he was playing the video of what the Chat GPT was saying concerning Jake. And you have some of these FBA, Foundational Black Americans, as they call themselves, that say that Jake was already here, and then they were taken from here and brought to other lands. That they never came here, blah, 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 and that's not the case. That's not true. And the chat kind of said the same thing, that the 12 tribes were here, and then from here that they were dispersed. And that's not the case. But one thing Elder Pastor did say in that video was that they never once mentioned Israel. And that's the main deal, because they don't want that name of Israel to come out. Matter of fact, let me get two precepts before we get started. Let me get this one. Let me get this one. And let me get, actually three. Let me get, what was the other one? Damn. Oh, Brakatei Haobashim Shai. I believe that's. Yep, Brakatei Haobashim Shai. And they don't want that name Israel to be out there amongst the real Israelites, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. When you go back to the book of Judith, remember what Achor said, the Ammonite. He said, if these people of Israel, are against their power is against them, for them breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, some iniquity is found in them, then you can move on. But if their power, if they're in good graces with their power, Yahweh, you can't do anything against them. And this is what Esau doesn't want. He doesn't want us to get back that relationship with the Most High, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. This is what the New Testament is all about. The gospel or the ministration of reconciliation. And this is what the world is trying to get away from, to add all people to it. And that's not the case. It's only the Israelites. So I'm going to read these precepts, and then I recorded a little clip off of the video the Elder Pastor did, which I'm going to play here. Based on what the chat said, that was very profound, and it's true that that they don't want that information out there, because the main threat to Esau being a so-called white man, and not all so-called looking white people like Edomites, the main threat to them is not missiles, it's not guns, it's not economic sanctions, it's not embargoes. It's not T to the terrorist attacks, It's not blockades. It's not foreign militaries. The main threat to Esau is the truth. So as powerful as this man is, his weakness is truth. Just like as powerful as Superman was, his weakness was kryptonite. Well, Esau's power is truth. I'm sorry, his weakness is truth. And I just thought about it. Superman's weakness was kryptonite. Crypto means hidden. So Israel's weakness is ignorance. What's hidden? Kryptonite. Crypto. See? So when we find out who we are, and it's open, it's no longer cryptic. Now we have power. It's no longer a weakness. And these devils see that. That's why it says in Psalms chapter 50, which we touched on this at the camp yesterday, and 21. These things hast thou done. Matter of fact, I started at 20. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Right, because Esau is our brother, but he's our wicked brother. These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, and you thought that the Lord was on your side. But I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes. And this is what is happening. The Lord is setting us in order before this devil's eyes. And they're getting, nervous. And LT, while you did all this, I remained silent, and you thought I didn't care. But now I will rebuke you, listing all my charges against you. Right, and this is how the Lord is listing his charges against you, by setting us in order before his eyes. Let's see what else we can glean off of this. Right, this is a good one. BBE, these things have you done, and I said nothing. It seemed to you that I was such a one as yourself, but I will make a protest against you. That's what the prophets are doing out here, protesting against Esau and the nations and Jake, and put them in order before your eyes. See? So we're being put in order before your eyes. Now I will reprimand and denounce you, this is the AMP, and state the case in order before your eyes. Right. And that's why we're being set in order before your eyes, because the Lord is using us to curse you out, to reprove you. And you're getting nervous. Let's go real quick to Revelation 11. And go straight to the point. 11. And after 3 days and a half, the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them. Right, this 3 days and a half is prophetic from the time that the bulk of the slaves were brought here till 1969, when the truth started to emerge. So we no longer were under the weakness of kryptonite, because the kryptonite, or the crypto, or the crypt, or what was hidden, became revealed. The veil was pulled back. That's why it says the Spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, which goes hand in hand with Ezekiel 37. And they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them.
The breath of life Adam got. The breath of Adam breathed. Eve breathed, the Adamites breathed, but the breath that Adam got put into his nostrils was this truth, which we got today.
See? Just because of the truth. You dig? So, going back to Numbers 23 and 9, it says, For from the tops of the rocks I see him. This is Balaam speaking. And from the hills I behold him. And Balaam was a Midianite priest. Right? Lo, the people shall dwell alone, because we are a separate people from all other nations, and shall not be reckoned among the nations. Because you have to understand, these nations know who we are, but they're not going to say who we are. They're not going to tell us who we are. Now they're going to come out and say it, because we done found out. The cat's out the bag, dude. Inside joke. So it's no longer a secret. So of course they can feel comfortable now in saying that we are, but when it mattered the most, they didn't bring it out. They didn't say anything. And Lord's will, we're going to get to that. Another precept was brought out at the camp yesterday, which I was, looking through Revelation 11, a particular word, and it was like wow. So let me read these other two precepts, and listen to the clip of the video that I clipped from, or recorded from an Elder Pastor's video, and then we can move on. Psalms 83 and 3 and 2. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult. That's when nations coming together, a great noise. And they that hate thee have lifted up their head. Right, the nations don't love the Lord. They never had a relationship with the Lord. But they have lifted up their head because they're in the power seat now. That's why it says lift up your horn on high. Esau's in the power seat because the Most High set up over the world the basis of men, because the Lord rules in the kingdom of men. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people. These are a lot of underhanded tactics. And who are the people of the Most High? The Israelites. And speaking of, because every time I say that or hear that, I think about High Priest Ariah. And I ran across a video where High Priest Yeshai was speaking first, then he turned it over and he said, "Now I'm going to turn it over to the king now." Which shows you that he at one time he believed that was King David. And that's what the whole split was all about. And then that's a whole nother world there. But then, as King Mashal was speaking and cursing you devils out, then High Priest Ariah came out. And when I ran across the video, I sent it to a few of the apostles, and I sent it to the bishops, and consulted against the hidden ones. Who are the hidden ones? The Israelites. Beginning with the so-called Negroes. You have to understand that the biggest threat to Esau, besides the truth, are the so-called Negroes, which are the tribe of Judah. Then the rest of the tribes fall under that. But Judah is the special treasure of the Most High. That is the top of the top, la creme de la creme. And that's why Judah, the so-called Negroes, caught it so bad. That's why they were the ones on the forefront of misery. The forefront of catching hell, the forefront of degeneracy, the forefront of just evil in the world. But they're going to be reinstated, reinvigorated, reassimilated, and about to be relocated. Inside joke. So they have said, "Come, this is the nation speaking, and let us cut them off from being a nation." Because people of the world today are not identifying as nations. They're identifying as color. They're identifying as land masses or land regions. They're not identifying as a nation. And when you go back to Genesis, the 10th chapter, that is what they call, the scholars call the table of nations. All of those nations still exist on the planet. All people on the planet go back to either, not Abraham. All nations on the planet, because Abraham only had 8 sons. All people on the planet go back to Shem, Ham, or Japheth, one of the 3 sons of Noah. So when you go, if you want to know the history of the world and the nations and how many nations there are and what the ratio is and what the people of the world are, Genesis the 10th chapter gives you a breakdown of all the nations that are on the planet Earth. Today they've been called different names because
every nation has a root, one common person that they go back to. So when you say that we're not the Israelites, you can't possibly be the Israelites. Where do we go back to? A lot of you say Africa. You got people in Nigeria, a big, large community of Nigerians that believe that they're the descendants of the Israelites. You got the Ethiopians, the Cushites, Falasha, Beta Israel. They say that they're the people, which the Israeli government acknowledges that they're the people. So they're acknowledging that Israelites can look like black so-called people with woolly hair. This truth is fucking y'all motherfuckers up.
Through conquering, mainly through the Greeks, the Romans, so on and so forth, they changed the names of these regions, the names of these people. People migrated from their original lands, or were chased out, or their land was conquered and they had to move out. So they ended up in a different region, a different location, and eventually ended up called something else. Because the Chinese, China, I believe that's what the British called it. After the dishes that they had in China, they didn't. That's not their original name. Their original name is Moab. The Japanese, they're Ammonites. But the thing is that the world doesn't know that because over time, the line of the original nation became blurred, and that's why the world is not, recognizing people according to the ancient nations. So these devils, when they got together, they said, "Let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance." And that's what they don't want. They don't want the remembrance of the nation of Israel to be among us. Because you still hear the name Israel. The land is still called that. You still have mention of it. You could read the Bible, you see Israel all over the place. But when it says that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance, means no more in remembrance among the people of the Israelites. Because as we read in in Numbers 23, that they should not be recognized among the nations. See, so we wouldn't be recognized. In other words, they wouldn't recognize us as being Israelites. You see, NLT comes, they say, let us wipe out Israel as a nation. We will destroy the very memory of its existence. See? So they destroy the memory of the existence of the name, so that the name of Israel may go out of man's memory. And it's talking about the people, not the land. Because if that's the case, why is the land still called Israel? See? The Most High is not a man that he should lie. See? Let the name of Israel, this is the AMP, let the name of Israel be remembered no more. Among who? Among the people, among the Israelites, the 12 tribes, from the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latinos, to the so-called Native American Indians. One people. Okay? And the other one, which is, matter of fact, I'm gonna get it, but I want to go to that word remembrance, so you can see. Remember me, Zakar, which means to remember. Remember, recall. See, what does it mean to recall? Because remember is to bring it back to memory.
Total Recall, the original that came out in 1990, Arnold Schwarzenegger. I forget what was his name in the movie. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But he had to take a chip out of his brain. There was a scene, he had the turban on his head. So I thought about Israelites. The movie was about him. Remember, he had the wife. That wasn't his real wife. And he had to realize it because they erased his brain. So he had to get total recall. So that's us. We're total recall. In other words, everything is coming. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm sorry. We received through the years partial recall. Now we're receiving total recall. Give me a second. Total recall, meaning total recall means the ability to remember past events, facts, or images with complete clarity, high precision, and exact detail. That's why Jake can't see it. They question it. I believe I'm an Israelite, but I don't believe that with the GMS or whatever. So this is beautiful right here. Total recall. You lost it at one time. You didn't know who you were. You suffered from amnesia. That's what we suffered from, amnesia. And we received total recall. But who's going to receive total recall? The elect. Let me read that again. Total recall means the ability to remember past events, other lives, facts, or images with complete clarity, no doubt. We never said, well, we might be the Israelites. No, we're the Israelites. High precision, and exact detail. The cargo slave ships, Deuteronomy 28 and 68. It is often used to describe a photographic or eidetic, what is that? Eidetic memory. I gotta look that up. Core meanings: memory, the absolute and clear recall of every detail of an event. Sci-fi flick, the title of the famous sci-fi media, based on a story about fake memory implants. Remember, they had to pull the implant out of him, because in that implant they gave him a fake memory. So he had to get his recall back. The first thing he had to do, put the towel on his head, and it was a turban, and then he had to pull out that it came out through his nose. and secret agents on Mars. Okay? We got that? Total recall. So the fact that the fact that we're saying that we're the Israelites, and not Jake is not waking up. Like I said, this is a small number. This is a small number. What is that? Exodus 12:16, I believe. Give me a second. Ezekiel, I'm sorry. Ezekiel 12, if I'm not mistaken. I'll find it. I'll find it. This is a good one. This is not the one I want, but I will leave a few men of them from the sword and from the famine, that they may declare all their abominations among the heathen, whether they come and they know that I am the Lord. Let me see. Give me a second. I'm sorry. Should know this by heart. Okay, small. Give me a second, y'all. This is how I'm going to find it. I know it's in Ezekiel. Do it this way. Well, I can't find this, man. Shit, I put 12. Did I put 12? I think I put 12, 16. Therefore, thus saith the Lord, although I cast them far off from among the heathen, and although I have scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a small sanctuary in the countries where they shall come. So we're all over the planet, right? Sparsely all over the planet in small little numbers. You know, you got the Dallas GMS camp. How many? You got maybe 20, 25 individuals, which is small. That's a small number. That's not even 100. Maybe the bigger camps, you might have 40 members or so forth. Like New York is over 50 members that are, you know, straight up that always come out. So that's what it's talking about. Everywhere the Most High set up with his small set. In the islands and so forth. In London, you got more than one camp. You got 3 camps in London. Major camps that are small numbers. You got maybe one camp might have 5 guys, another camp might have 10 guys. So this is small. Let me come on back.
And that's what happened to us as a people. We had to be brought back to remembrance of who we are or who we were at one time. See, to make a memorial, make remembrance. All right? So when we go to Psalms 62 and 4, they, meaning the nations, only consult to cast them down from its excellency, beginning with the Edomites, the wicked. Their whole thing is to cast us down from our excellence. What is our excellence? That we are the royal people, that we are the holy people of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. So if they can cause us to go off and commit offense against the Most High, the Lord, they know that the Lord is going to turn against us. Therefore, we will fall and be in that degenerate state or degenerate plant of a strange vine state, be in decay, and the Lord will not recognize us, and the Lord would not protect us. That's why these devils do everything possible to keep Jake in a wicked mindset, wicked mind state, a wicked, their actions being wicked. That's why he promotes all that debauchery, on these videos, especially the hip hop videos, because the hip hop, when it first came out, it was an avenue for positivity. When you go back to the 70s, the late 70s, mid to late 70s, 80s, it was a positive message. The worst thing you could say is, you talk about somebody's girl, I took your girl or something like that. That was like the most wicked thing that you could say back then. But it was all about, I got, my style is better than your style, my lyrics are better than your lyrics. Or on the other hand, it was a positive message. Stop the violence. Why is that? A teaching platform. A way of conveying positive messages, positive vibes. But then in the late 80s, these different record companies made deals with the, you could watch one of the members of Bone Thugs and Harmony. He brings it out because he was present at the meeting. How they switched it up because the prison industrial complex bought into that. That's why they wanted Jake to go into that gangster shit, killing and all that, because that would put a different vibe out there so that they could fill their prisons. Because bodies in prisons equals money in their pocket. Okay, so they want to cast us down from our excellency so that we don't return back to our Father. That's why they have, in the so-called ghettos, the hoods, the barrios and all that, they have nothing but negativity flowing around. Whether it's in music, whether it's in entertainment, sports, whether it's in food, drink, clubs, so on and so forth. It's all about keeping Jake in that demonic vibe state so that they don't wake up to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. They delight in lies, they bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Salah, right? So they act like it's for our benefit. But really, if you were able to read their mind, you would see their true intentions. So let me play this, couple of these. It's very short. Hopefully I can get them in the right order. Audio files. Oh man, come on, don't tell me I didn't. I thought I grabbed it. I did record it, didn't I? Yes. Okay, beautiful. I got a little nervous there for a minute. This is the first one. Listen up.
Resurrection codes, and goddess awareness. It was all repackaged and I returned through that mirror to say, open quote, you were never the lost ones. You were the ones they feared would remember, close quote.
Now, I don't know if you heard that, because it sounded a little muffled. I'm going to play it again, but then I'm going to read the caption because I actually put the closed caption on. I'm going to play it again.
That voice breaks through. It's undeniable. That's the strategy I use, because that's how you collapse system inside.
I'll play one more, and then I'm gonna go back to it.
Our knowledge, chakra systems, resurrection codes, and goddess awareness. It was all repackaged and hidden. I'd return through that mirror to say, open quote, you were never the lost ones. You were the ones they feared but remember, close quote.
All right, let me play that again.
Our knowledge, chakra systems, resurrection codes, and goddess awareness. It was all repackaged and hidden. I'd return through that mirror to say, open quote, you were never the lost ones. You were the ones they feared but remember, close quote.
Lost tribes of Israel. Go to the 12 lost tribes of Israel.
So I don't know how good you brothers heard that. I'm not sure if it was super clear.
This is from my video, so you can watch the video I did, and I played most of the video was I was playing with those other videos, those other clips when TikTok came up as.
But I'm gonna touch on that. But I want to read this quote that the brother put. Now this quote here, they said was attributed to George Orwell in the book 1984, or the movie, or going back to the book. I believe that was in the 50s, I think, or something like that. But nevertheless, they said that the quote doesn't go back to him. But nevertheless, whoever it goes back to, it says, in a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is considered a revolutionary act. That's what it is, because truth in a time of great deceit, especially universal or worldwide, is very damaging to the ones that are in charge. And like the French philosopher Voltaire said, history is the lie commonly agreed upon. All right, so I didn't get any nobody said if they could hear it good or not. I don't know if brothers just sleeping or what, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna read this off from what he's saying. It says that voice breakthrough is undeniable. That's okay. Sounds perfectly. The water. Undeniable. That's the strategy I'd use, because that's how you collapse a system inside and inside, by activating the ones they tried to erase, as we just read in the book of Psalms 83 and Psalm 62. Want to see how this connects to Yeshua, which is Yahushai, say Magdalene, I guess he's speaking about Mary Magdalene, and the 144, which Elder Pastor jumped all over that. Now the other one, that's why the famous star knowledge, chakra, some codes and goddess awareness, it was all repackaged and hidden, going back to the deception of the Renaissance. I'd return through that mirror to say, open, you were never the lost. You were never the lost, even though we are the lost sheep of the house of Israel. You were never the lost ones. You were the ones they feared would remember.
Esau's number one fear is that Yahushua come back with the angels and overturn it, like the scripture said, I will overturn it.
So you see that?
The lion has come up out of his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way. It's another one. I believe Jeremiah said that.
So you were never the lost ones. You were the ones they feared would remember. And I found that very interesting because that's exactly what the scripture said. Now, let's go to Jeremiah 17:4. Hit a couple of these precepts. And thou even thyself shalt discontinue from thine heritage that I gave thee. Now, to discontinue means to stop, basically to abruptly stop, to be removed, to be exiled. Beginning with our land, that's where we discontinue from, but also in being removed.
The lion has come up from his thicket, and the destroyer of the Gentiles is on his way, and he is gone forth from his place to make thy land desolate, America, and thy cities shall be laid waste without an inhabitant. That's America. That's America right there. Let me do this just to be curious. Let me replace this with this. Let me do it this way. I know what I did now. I hope this is quick. In the teaching GMS Great Millstone Israelite Camp, Jeremiah 4, verse 7, the lion has come out of his thicket, destroys Gentiles all day. Interpretation, directly violent destruction of modern Western society, identified as the spiritual Babylon by Most High's judgment. We break down the lion, the destroyer, lion coming out of his thicket. Destroyer of Gentiles symbolizes a powerful military and divine force raised by and put Yah to waste the wicked nations, the Gentiles, Western systems. The setting, the thicket is explained as the hidden places, a secret origin from which the destructive forces ultimately executed via thermonuclear destruction and foreign military power in the last days prepares its attack. The result, the verse's conclusion that the land will be made desolate and cities laid waste without an inhabitant, that's America, is used to prove that modern American and Western infrastructure will be completely decimated, that's not the right word to use, utterly destroyed during the World War III and the return of Yahushua. Anyway, that's all I wanted. Let's come on back.
Move from our land. Being brought up among these different nations, what happened? Eventually, a good portion of Jake lost who they were. And eventually, in process of time, bring it up to date. None of us really knew who we were. It was really only a handful of men out there that knew who they were, that they were the Israelites. but it was very few, far few in between. Now in 2026, there has been a whole explosion of knowledge amongst the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians waking up back to their nationality, thanks to the internet. You know, which the internet, which is broadcasted off of different signals from different satellites. You have Earth satellites, you have satellites in space, for lack of better words. You have the ozone layer, stratosphere. You know, you have different spheres, right? So the satellites could be from anywhere from 100 feet in the air to 2,200 feet, I believe it was. They said something along those lines, something called the thermosphere. All right, I'm not a scientist, you know, but you know, this is just based off of some research I did, you know, a little basic quick research I did, you know. So you have satellites in the air, satellites on the earth that are broadcasting these signals that the Lord is using to bring Jake back to their remembrance. This is why you see camps all over the world, but mainly here, where? In America. Why? Because America is Babylon the Great. So we would discontinue from the heritage that the Lord gave us. Okay? And a part of that was we lost our identity. Not only did we lose our land, our culture, our language, everything, we lost who we were as a people. All right? And that's why a part of the curses for not obeying the Lord's words, law, statutes, and commandments was the Deuteronomy 28:37, and thou shalt become an astonishment. Right? Because at one time we were lauded. The Lord said, see that you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. For this is your wisdom in the sight of the nations, which shall look at you and say, what nation is like this great nation that has such great laws, and pretty much the Most High is close with them. Something along those lines. So, is this the people that are called the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? See? So we became from being the greatest to pretty much being at the bottom. Esau went from being the bottom of the pile to being the top of the pile. I have seen princes upon the ground. I have seen servants on horses and princes upon the ground. So there has been a role reversal. But there's going to be a re-reversal back, so that Esau is going to go back to his proper place where he belongs. This is one of my absolute favorites, Lamentation 121. They have heard that I sighed. The nations heard this. There is none to comfort me. These nations are not comforting us. That's why none of them were the ones that jumped up and said, you know what? Since you are the Israelites, we're going, look, I know you're going through hell right now, but one comforting thing you have is that you are the Israelites and the Heavenly Father is your God, and He's going to vindicate you, in the future. None of them said that. Now all of a sudden, when the word is out, now all of a sudden they have this newfound love to tell us who we are. It says, all mine enemies have heard of my trouble. Every last one of them, from the Edomites to the Moabites to the Ammonites to the Hamites, all of them. They are glad that thou hast done it, right? Because the nations did not want us to get back into power, because they saw that when we were in power and the Lord was on our side, we was kicking their ass and they were tributary. They didn't want to go back to that. It says, thou will bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. So in other words, there's going to be a role reversal. We're going to be back on top where we belong, and you're going to be at the bottom. Others heard my
role reversal. Was it reversal of power, reversal of fortune?
Groans, but no one turned to me to comfort me. When my enemies heard about my troubles, they were happy to see what you had done. Oh, bring the day you promised, when they will suffer as I have suffered. Trading Places. If you haven't seen that movie, Trading Places, I suggest you go see it. Excellent movie. Produced by Aaron Russo, starring Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd. A very good movie, showing you the reversal of fortunes. So, going back to Deuteronomy 28:37, and thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword. among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. So we became a proverb and a byword as to where we were the top nation on the planet, from Judites and Benjaminites, Levites, Issacharites, and Manassites and Reubenites, Gadites, to niggas, spics, spooks, wetbacks, tontos, beaners, to being taunted, called snowball, called having taunting proverbs brought against us. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a nigga by the toe, 1 little, 2 little, 3 little Indians, and many others. If you black, get back. All these different.
During slavery and post-slavery, the white man would call the so-called black men boys, but they would call the older so-called black men snowballs because they had an afro, natural, which was fully gray, which is white. So he resembled a snowball. So there's a snowball that was featured in the movie Full Metal Jacket. Gunnery Sergeant Hartman called one of the Jake recruits and called him Snowball, but he went off because the guy had a bald head. Snowball is when you had an older black man with a full head of gray hair that looked like a snowball, white as snow. Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai came down, as he did in Revelation 1, white man would call him Snowball.
Different things that take away from who we are as a people, but it's a part of the punishment. But that punishment is up. That's why the scriptures say in Isaiah, comfort ye my people, tell her that a warfare is accomplished. All right, so let's go from there. Oh, matter of fact, you know what? No. Wait a minute. Where's this from? Just bear with me. All right, let me just, because I know definitely it ain't here. So I have wrote a little side note there. But let's go to Deuteronomy 32. Same book. Different chapter. We're going to read a couple, we're going to jump around here like the House of Pain. Deuteronomy 32:15.
Stop biting my line.
But Jeshurun waxed fat. Jeshurun is another name for Israel. Yashawan, which means darling, means first. There's different definitions for it. And kick, meaning, how Jake, when they do good, they just kick back.
We gonna kick it.
So basically, they wax fat and kick. Thou art waxing fat, thou art grown thick, thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook the Most High, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. The same one that gave us everything, that allowed us to kick back, that allowed us to do well. Right? So let's jump down to the 19th verse. And when Yahweh Bashem Yahushai saw it, he abhorred them, meaning he avoided them, kicked us out of the land because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters. So see here, it says sons and daughters. When you see the word children, it's really sons. Because the Lord said, the flock of my pasture are men. So when he addresses the nation, he's really addressing the men. Because the men are responsible for everybody else in the nation. It says, and he said, I will hide my face from them, which the Lord did. And the one thing that made this captivity worse is that we didn't know who we were. Or it was beaten out of us, let's say. So when we lost that ability to get back to the Father, to call on him, that made it even worse. Then when we lost the ability to know who we were, that made it even doubly worse.
That's why it's important to know that name. And it goes deeper than the name. You can't be just a wicked nigga that commits adultery back to back and just call on Yahweh by some Yahushai. They stood so stiffly for the name. Second Ezra 2. He was just reading, somebody was reading it. Stood so stiffly for the name, meaning the name and what was behind the name.
I will see what their end shall be, for they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith. You know, that's why we, man, whew. So it says, they have moved me to jealousy with that which is not the Most High, which are these different gods. That was the main thing that the Lord was angry with. You know, he was angry with a lot of stuff that our forefathers did. But one of the main things, the top of the list, was idol worship. They provoked me to anger with their vanities, and I will move them to jealousy with those which are not people, which are who? The Israelites that lost their way. And one was
that was Paul. That was on behalf of Paul. He was going to the Gentiles, which were Israelites. Romans 11, Acts 13. Just to name two scriptures. They kicked him out of him and I believe it was either Silas or Barnabas at the time. They kicked him out. He went to Iconium, and that's where he met up with Timothy.
When was this beginning? When was it beginning?
So Paul never went to other nations telling them they got salvation. He's going to the Israelites that didn't know that they were Israelites coming back into the fold.
Of the fulfillment of this during the time of when Yahushua and the disciples were on the scene. That was, you could say like 1,500 years or so in the future from this point. Because, you know, we were delivered, our forefathers were delivered out of Egypt roughly around 1491 BC. So let's say rounded off 1,500. So 1,500 years in the future, that's when this started to be fulfilled with the Israelite foreigners. I will provoke them to anger with a foolish nation. And why were they foolish? Because they forsook the covenant, they forsook the law, statutes, and commandments, they worship idols, and their foolish heart was darkened. Okay? Let's jump from there to the 26th verse. I said I would scatter them into what? Corners. What are the corners? Insignificant places. In, you know, the so-called ghettos, the barrios, you know, redlining. You know, the worst parts of, you know, when Esau took Gad's land, they gave him the worst of the land. And when he thought the land was barren of anything and then found out that there was something there, what did he do? He destroyed the heirs and went there and took over, intermarried, you know, under false pretenses. You know, Killers of the Flower Moon. That movie. Shit, I forgot the name of the that tribe. You know, it happened. I believe that was Oklahoma, if I'm not mistaken. And if it wasn't, this particular situation happened the same year that Tulsa was burnt down. Same exact year. Like it says, Judah and Israel will be oppressed together. If you do the research, you know.
You go to the hood, you're going to have Judah. You're going to have a lot of the Latin tribes, Mexicans, Ephraimites, Simeonite, like in the Bronx. You're going to run into a Judite, Benjaminite, Ghanaian, Issacharite, Simeonite, Ephraimite, Asherite.
They pretty much were that happened the same exact year. So them corners was pretty much the worst part of the planet. And you see wherever you go on the planet, where you see Jake, is terrible. Pa'ah, to cleave in pieces, break into pieces, shatter. And that destroyed us. And eventually what happened? We were scattered among the nations. Right? It says, I would make the remembrance of them to cease from among men. And that's what happened. Our remembrance ceased from among men. Now I believe this might be, okay, you know what? The Amplified. I got the AMP and the BB. Let's see what that says. AMP. I would have said, I will cut them to pieces, scattering them far away. I will remove the memory of them from men. See? BBE. I said, I would send them wandering far away. I would make all memory of them go from the minds of men. And that's why, to this day, the world will not acknowledge us as being Israelites. That's why even ChatGPT wouldn't acknowledge. Because they didn't say Israelites. But one thing he did say was, you're not the lost ones. You are the ones that they feared would remember. Woo! Why? Because if you remember, you will call on your power. So when we called on our power, the Lord heard us, as he did in Egypt, and would benefit us by showing us favor and mercy. And that's what's happening right now. This is the mercy of the Lord, to still leave a remnant of his people around to be able to be brought back. Because the scriptures cannot be broken. You had to have the ministry of reconciliation. So let's go from there. Let's go to the book of Malachi. Like I said, just a couple of precepts that I had jotted down. Some of them, actually some of these I got off of, some of them came to mind, some of them I got off of the blue letter, Malachi 3 and 16, the main point. Then they that fear the Lord spake often one to another, and Yahweh, Hashem Yahushai, hearkened and heard it, and a book of remembrance was written before him for them that feared the Lord and thought upon his name. See? So the Lord remembered the ones that were a part of the elect.
Baruch 2 and 30 on down goes into the name. Think upon his name. Think upon his name.
And brought them back by way of remembrance, because remember, the nations didn't do it. What the nations did was they made it to where we couldn't find our way back.
Total recall. By way of remembrance. Total recall.
So the Lord had to do it for us. St. John 14:26. It says, I'll start at 25. These things have I spoken unto you, being yet present with you. But the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, which is the book, the words in the book, plus the Spirit that comes with it, where there's one angel or a group of angels that go to the different Israelites around the world and make them to understand this truth.
Yahushai shall not leave you comfortless, I shall come to you. So that's Yahushai in the book. What is it? It was written of me. Psalms 40 and 7. Behold, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me, spoken of me. So he's the one that comes in your presence in the spiritual realm. You got this Edomite that said that the Apostle Paul was a devil because he lied. He said that Yahushua came to him, and I was going to do a video, but I couldn't load up my screensaver. But I was going to do a video on it, of the stupid Edomite talking about Paul was a devil. I said, well, wait, that means you would have to tear out you have to really, the New Testament, it'd only be a handful of books. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. There wouldn't be no Acts, because Paul has mentioned Acts. Wouldn't be no Romans, 1 Corinthians, 2 Corinthians, 1 Timothy, 2 Timothy, Titus, and it has everything to do that relate to Paul. So you got to take out Peter, because Peter bigged up Paul. So how many books are you gonna have? What, 4 books? In the New Testament? That shows you that the first scripture came to my mind, popped in my mind with this video was Daniel 12 verse 10. But the wicked will not understand. That's why these scholars don't understand the prophecies. Deal with a scholar, go and lead him into the prophecies, see how well he swims.
Whom the Father will send in my name, Yahushai. That's why they know those names are important. He shall teach you all things. and bring all things to your remembrance whatsoever I have said unto you. Why? Because the elect were activated. You know, the word education, educare, means to draw out. Which when you look it up now, they say, no, that's not what it means. But let me see, bring up children to train, educere, to lead. Yeah, when you look it up now,
Edifice means to build. Conscrew, to build. Construction, construe. My message. Edifice, edify. Edify is to teach somebody. Edifice is a structure.
Usually with reference bodily refers to frequently to the mind, while educare refers more frequently to the mind, and there is no authority for a common statement that the
It means to build upon the mind, to educate yourself.
primary sense of education is a draw. This is bullshit.
Yeah, Edamon online be going off. They really ain't too deep.
No, because when you used to be able to look it up before, they brought all this out. That the word educate goes back to the Latin educare, which means to draw out. But now, when you do the research, they say no. The fact checkers say no, that's not what it means. You know? So you gotta watch these devils. Because them devils are treacherous. They are liars. You are forgers of lies. Liars. Lies. The water, brother. Inside joke. Just bear with me. Just trying to look up something. I got this book. I've had this book for years. Remember when I first had the book, I gave all the apostles and the bishops, I gave them copies of this. It's an etymology book that I found at the Bridgeport Library. Very good book.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Just bear with me just one quick second. Okay, that doesn't really show me much. You worries don't show me much, huh? Inside joke. Don't mind the doves. They come with the package. All right, so let's see something. It's gonna say no, but yes, see? Does educate mean to draw out? Yes. Part of the history of the world, educate connects to drawing out. But it also means train or feed, right? Because you have to first draw it out in order to train it. Because when you have a gift, you know, when you have a talent, you know, that talent has to be trained. It has to be exercised. You have to show discipline, you know, to master that skill. You see? And that's what the scriptures were about. So when you have somebody that had a talent and you spotted that talent, you know, you being a coach or whatever, you would train that individual to be able to learn how to, you know, work with whatever gift was given him. Educere, see, means to lead out, bring forth, or draw out. So why the fuck did the Etamon Online say no? Because the Etam Online is probably owned by them mini cats. I looked in the book. I looked up to try to get the word like educate, but it didn't give me anything. But I just want to look again. Nah. Let me just see the word city.
This is the vocabulary part of the video. You got to go into vocabulary. You got to go into root words.
Yeah, it just
Lowest common denominator.
goes into city. Just go into series, the goddess. All right, no worries. But we got it here. Matter of fact, No, we got to keep receipts. Just bear with I. And this, Google Docs, I just use this to keep some stuff that I want, Yes. But we just read in Etam Online that it said no. So I just wanted to save that. So it says, yes, part of the history of the word educate connects to drawing out, but it also means to train or feed. Word experts debate the exact root, linking the term to two different Latin words. The two Latin roots, educere, means to lead out, bring forth, or draw out. E meaning out, right, X. X is out, and ducere meaning to lead or draw. Educare.
Yeah, the original, they told you in the original thing when you went to Edamon, it said it means to draw out. One of the definitions. Like I said, it leads into the word edifice, to build upon, also, excuse me.
It means to nourish, rear, bring up, or train, right? It's same thing. Because once you draw it out, then you have to tame it. Modern meaning versus world history, the drawing out view, people often use educere to argue that true teaching helps a student discover what is already inside them, and that's true. Because you either have it or you don't. You're either the elect or you're not. And if you're the elect, when somebody says something, it's going to activate something inside of you. The Lord is going to bring it back to your memory, because when a brother speaks, they're speaking what? The scriptures. And we just read in St. John, 14, that and 26, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. Let me just...
So why, when Taza Doctor said he's a comforter, these people accepted it? That means they were weak. The Spirit, the Most High took the Spirit from 1949, whatever, Madison, which is the old One West, the school across the street, down the street. The Spirit, when we left, when that split happened, the Most High, Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, totally took that Spirit, even from Ariah and Shah, High Priest Ariah and High Priest Shah. So when he said, I'm the God sent comforter, right then and there, nobody woke up. Now those people that left afterwards and came up against them, you notice they ain't teaching no more. They just went back, they aired them out, and they spilled the tea on them, and they back in the world, waiting for a missile to come.
Just want to look at the word for remembrance. Hupo imnasco. Like nosco is to know. To cause one to remember, bring to remembrance, recall to mind to another. All right, let's see. The last part of that was the practical meaning. Dictionaries define modern education as imparting knowledge, giving instruction, and training. Right, but it goes far beyond that. You have to draw it. It has to be in you in order for you to draw it out. All right.
Total recall.
Yeah, I
Total
changed
recall.
what you call it.
And that's also the oil. If you didn't have the oil 2,000 years ago, you ain't gonna have the oil today. That's why God fall off. Anyway, I'm gonna say Shalom. Watch the rest of this. Very good. Being brought back to remembrance, which has something to do with reincarnation, because you had it in the previous life. Anyway, Shalom. On to the next.